I think it's probably the Earth's core rotating in the opposite direction.
It does that every 75 years.
The crazy thing is like we already knew that we were going to have a grand solar minimum. It's on the way. It's supposed to be between 22 and 24. So,
but then it was complete opposite. So who fucking knows? The weather guessers. Episode 26, members only question and answer with John and Amanda. My girlfriend over here.
Your girlfriend.
There's actually a thumbnail for a Day on the Compound video coming out next week that I'm not sure if she's going to like or not. I hope you do.
Well, she never sees them.
Okay.
She doesn't watch the content. She watches it because my favorite content is my
him.
content. I will listen to, I could go back from like the very first original Pulling the Thread and listen to all 126 episodes and be completely entertained.
Oh, absolutely. I do that too.
But I don't like the way I sound. So I don't listen to myself, right?
We can pitch shift you.
What?
We can auto-tune you.
I actually did that in a vlog.
Would you like to? Which cartoon character would you like to sound like? Jessica Rabbit.
Sure.
Can I have her boobs too, please?
Yes.
Awesome. Like big, huge, stupid big.
Like that dude that got those F implants.
Yes.
Like that school teacher.
Yeah, I saw that.
Absolutely.
All right, so Pete Tony, what's going on, buddy? John and Amanda, I noticed over time you're building more tool-oriented products. Are you planning on expanding more into that space with tool and utility products, such as tool storage, Velcro-backed tool slots, tool bag with shoulder strap, or do you already have a product line planned and waiting to manufacture? Also, I'm very excited to hear about your tutorial videos and your warehouse supply plans for materials. So, yeah. Okay, next question. Yeah, we actually answered that quite in depth last week. Somebody asked that. Yeah, we've got products. I just kind of didn't do tool stuff as much as we are going to because just out of respect for John Carver from Atlas 46. If you listen to the episode 25, I talk quite in depth about that. But yeah, we are going to do some more tool stuff. Small run, hit it, quit it, on to the next thing. There's not gonna ever be a point probably where you can just come and buy that and it's in inventory. Our bottleneck has always been labor. We can scale and do 100 different things in complete opposite directions. We can't build enough where we are. So, are you hearing something weird or?
I do. I think your mic is too loud. That slider needs to come down a little bit on you. Do you hear that like fuzzy sound?
Yeah, I thought it was breathing. I thought it's her. She pants whenever I'm next to her. Yeah, I do hear something.
I wonder if it's...
Is it me turning my chair?
No, this isn't plugged in.
That stopped, whatever that was. Maybe it's some feedback off of that.
I might be getting feedback from that.
So, yeah, we're going to do some more tool stuff. But basically, when we have a product, if I think we could sell 50 of them, we're only going to build 40 of them. And then if guys continue to ask once they're sold out, they sell out pretty fast that way. And then if guys keep asking about them, we'll run another run for 20. And typically when that happens, we have a few that don't sell. So they sit in inventory and you're able to get them until you can't get them.
Until you can't get them.
And then guys get them, use them, load them up, and they're like, hey, we really like these. Could we get more of these? And that's typically when we'll run them. A guy like, hey, if you'll make 12 more, I'll take 12. And then we'll do another batch and push them out or a different color type. But yeah, we're going to do them. As far as tool bags with handles or tool bags with shoulder straps, the way my tool bag is designed is, man, every time I talk, I hear like static.
There's something going on, and I don't know what it is.
Is it the heater?
Maybe it is because of the heaters. Just I'm good with it. They'll deal with it.
All right, cool.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
So the way my bag opens, it opens from the side across the top to the other side. So if we put a shoulder strap on there, because the bag opens halfway or more down the side, so you can kind of splay it out and get into it, there's not a good point to put a shoulder strap attachment on there. And you see guys do it, but what happens when it's at the halfway point, when you go to pick the bag up, it flips upside down half the time and dumps all your shit out if it's not zip closed. That's why I've not put any attachment on there. Now you can put an attachment on there higher up, but then the bag hangs stupid. Like I'm telling you, it is fucking miserable. So it's funny you asked that because I was thinking about how we're going to do this.
I have an idea.
How to do it, and the way to do it with a shoulder strap is to not make the bag open all the way down the sides. It has to open on the top, or maybe even 2 zippers that zip, and then that flap kind of pulls back like you see on some range bags. That's the way to do it. And then the other thing too, if you don't have a rigid plate in the bottom of the bag and you have a shoulder strap, it's like a slouch bag. It looks like a horseshoe purse.
It'll look like a saggy diaper.
It looks like all your fake tan soccer moms with the ugly ass brown Louis Vuitton at the mall. It's just that it has no shape to it. So to do it proper, like we have a slot, a lot of people don't even realize our tool bag does not come with a rigid insert in it, but our large tool bag does. Now the small one has the slot you can put in there. The truth is, the best thing to put in that thing, go get you a rigid cutting board from Walmart, like a plastic cutting board, and just cut that thing with a jigsaw or whatever to the shape you want it to be. Whatever you measure it out at, that'll be too big. So you want to cut it, probably if you needed a plate that's 12 inches by 6 inches, I would cut a plate that's 11 by 5. It'll slide in there, make it super rigid, and it'll work better. Yeah, but the answer is yes, we are going to do something, and you'll probably see something soon.
I was just saying, what you just said was exactly the reason why 30 years experience is worth it.
Exactly.
Because anybody can put 15 stitches where only 2 needs to go, but that shit that you just said is the reason why.
There's guys making bags, believe it or not, that look just like our bags. And to somebody on this tinging on this chair, to somebody who doesn't know, they would look at that bag and go, "Oh, those are the same bag, same company." But they have that fucking little D-ring on there to put a shoulder strap on. Yep. And when you pick it up, the damn thing flips upside down. And when you wear the shoulder strap, when you wear it, it's trying to turn over. Like it's fulcrum, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever you have an attachment point, the higher it is, the more stable it's going to be. And the more close to center, the more that thing's going to flip and fight you. So, a lot of guys carrying tool bags, they don't really have a lot. They're not carrying tools in them, right? Mm-hmm. But our large tool bag, I built it for a 550-piece Craftsman tool set. We took all the sockets. It's got 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2-inch sockets on it. And we put them all on trays, right? It's this metal tray, and each socket has a place. We put those in there. We put the screwdrivers in a tool pod, put the drivers in a tool pod, put the drive wrenches in a tool pod. It only fills half the bag. And then you put a DeWalt impact driver in there, and you can put a DeWalt 6-inch cutoff saw in there. And now you've got 75 pounds in this fucking bag.
It's so heavy you don't want to carry it.
Guys always like the large kit, the super kit bags and stuff. And I'm like, guys, I love the super kit bag, but I carry 4 other bags in the super kit bag, right? Because you can have that super kit bag 100 pounds. You can put your scuba tanks in the damn thing. You're not going to want to carry it. I would rather have small bags. I can put them on my shoulders if I have to, but that giant ass bag, man, you can put your fire turnout in there. You can stand in there and take all your fucking fire gear off and put it right in that bag and still have room to spare.
Yeah, super kit bag is humongous. I travel with a regular kit bag with a bunch of shit. Like anything that I think I'm going to need goes in that kit bag, and I still have room. Yeah,
Eagle, London Bridge, all these guys, like ADS it's a prime vendor. You can go to ADS, you can't, but agencies can go to ADS and buy carbon fiber Blackhawk helicopter blades. They can buy O-rings and soda sorb for Draeger rebreathers, right? Anything's in there. And we have parts that are in ADS. They make and sell these bags. I think London Bridge, it changes vendors, from time to time, but it's a rolling frame luggage. The metal frame is literally like a dolly. It lays down, and it's got these badass like rollerblade wheels, but bigger.
Yeah.
The bag empty is fucking close to 30 pounds. when you load it,
Well, there goes your 50-pound fucking limit.
yeah, well, it's over. Not only is it overweight, what is the check now? Is it check baggage 50 pounds?
50 pounds.
Used to be
that's insane.
75, then it went to 65. So you're overweight and you're oversized. But most of the people using that stuff, they're not traveling on planes, and if they are traveling on planes,
It's not commercial.
they're military or charter, right? We were at where were we at? Prada.
Yes,
Prada. We were at a custom showing at Prada.
in Vegas.
They have hidden rooms in all those places, and we got to go in this room, and it was set up for Jay-Z and Beyonce were there the day before we were there, and they had all this luggage stuff sitting in there. These Prada and Louis Vuitton does the same thing. They're like steamer trunks, and they're big. And I'm like, well, how do people take these on the planes? And they're like, they're on their private plane. I'm like, duh, okay. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's literally a closet. You're gonna and people don't realize also, people with that kind of money, they don't pack their shit up.
Oh, no.
They have assistants that come in, pack the stuff for them, put it in there. It gets put on the plane. They get on the plane. When they land in Italy, Rome, wherever they're going, right? They have somebody ahead of time that takes all of that shit. When they get to the hotel room or to their estate or whatever, their clothes are already put away.
It's already put away.
They don't do any of that shit.
I'm even surprised that Beyonce and Jay-Z were at the store, because if you look on social media of like those types of people, if they're in their house, you'll see like commercial clothing racks, and it's because those stores send them stuff to try.
Yeah,
on.
but sometimes they still like to go shop. Like in Prada, there is a back entrance. Like they have their own elevator. They have their own entrance into the parking garage. Like
all the malls do.
All of them do. There is a private entrance for those people to come in.
There's two. You drive in. There's the private entrance and then private valet, and then all the back entrances and everything, like she said.
Yeah.
So. And they close the stores down, right? They're in there after hours, before hours, but they were there because there was something was happening there in town.
Yeah.
And they had brought all her dresses in, so she was just doing the final fittings and final try-ons.
Yeah.
And in that room, they actually had Elton John's trunk that they were putting together, like all of his collars and stuff that he wears. It was pretty neat to see.
I wanted to buy. I couldn't afford anything. In there. I'm like, I have to buy something here, right? And I'm like, how much is that chess set? And they're like, that's the only one in the whole company. So I bought the checker set. They couldn't find all the pieces for the chess, so I bought this badass like machined aluminum, and it comes in a leather Prada. It's probably 13 by 13 inches, but I did buy that. I was able to get that.
After Babyhead rolled all over the
He's rolling around on this like
chinchilla
fur blanket, and I'm like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's a chinchilla. I go, how much does that cost? 68. I'm like, get off of that.
Exactly.
68. He's like wiping his face on it. He's like, it's so soft.
But we always talk about we play rich, because like we can go into places like that, and if Annie ever sees anything that she wants, it's hers and she knows it. But we really shouldn't be buying stuff like that. But we go in there and do the same thing. Look at this $20,000 pair of shoes. That would be cool, but not really.
So if you wanna buy that, right, and if you do buy it, and you're not worried about it, because you're not going to know most of the people but show it on social media, and figure out how to use the spiking out. People are going to be so upset that you bought this, or they're going to be telling you what a fool you are that you bought it. And then other people are going to be like, fucking good for you, man. If you want that, I think it's dumb, but fucking more awesome, brother. So driving traffic, right? How can you monetize? And that's how we used to do Facebook all the time. Whenever I'd show, I never did the watches as a, hey, check this out. But that's what it turned into, because people turned it into that. But when they look 3-4 years back, I was doing the same picture at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning. The only thing that changed was the type of watch and the steering wheel, right? Yep. Nobody had shit to say when it was a Ford truck and a Citizen Aqualand watch. But as it became more expensive steering wheels and more expensive watches, they lost their fucking mind. But we were able to monetize that, and every single time we bought one of those cars or we bought an expensive watch, I made the money that weekend off of the code from the elevated traffic.
That shit works too, because my entire life I either wore tennis shoes or work boots, until one day I saw John Willis wearing some studded loafers in Vegas, and I wanted those so bad when I saw you walking around in those.
So I'd heard 50 Cent had put out a song.
50 Cent.
And he said, where's your bitch's Birkin bag at? And I didn't know what a Birkin bag was. And he's like,
they're ugly.
he said, I got my bitch some Louboutins. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker can't pronounce Louis Vuitton. So I listened to the song again. I sent it to her. She's like, it's Louboutin. I'm like, yeah, he can't pronounce Louis Vuitton. Neither one of us had heard.
Red bottoms.
Red bottoms is what it is. And there's a whole story of red bottoms, and during the Crusades and when they came back, the bottoms of their shoes were stained from the blood. And it has to do, like, that's kind of the story with it. But it's a red lacquer bottom on the Christian Louboutins. But I did buy a pair. I bought a $7,000 pair of Christian Louboutins that have Swarovski crystals all over them.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was spikes or studs.
It's
both.
both.
I have both.
He has both. He has both.
But I just bought them. I just thought they were neat, right?
Yeah, and then you put it on social media and it blows up.
Right, and every time we did that, while people were busy, they had no idea what was going on. Like, every time I bought a car, we would run a discount code of 20% that weekend, but because of the elevated traffic from the shit talkers, I would make twice as much as the car cost.
It was just in front of so many more people
before we ever left town. Like, both Porsches we had double the money. We picked the cars up Friday, and by Saturday I had double the money that night that the car cost. So we were always able to just pay those off and then also have the exact same amount of money that the vehicle cost originally. But I mean, we paid them, but we made twice as much every time. But it doesn't quite work the same. You have to really know social media now.
Yeah, and you have to deal with, like, you're gonna get more haters than people saying. Right,
it's all right.
on.
Look at TikTok right now.
Yeah.
Look at the Glocks suck short on YouTube. Right. There's 5,000 comments.
Yeah.
Not a one of those dudes has a fucking clue who we are. They've kind of slowed down, so I'm able to see them now when I get a notification of post. And they're like, you're so fucking stupid. I don't know why you'd make this video. And I actually replied to them. I'm like, we made this video because in 14 years of YouTube now, you finally commented on one of my videos. I have over 3,000 videos. Thank you for showing up.
Yep.
Or I'm like, have you ever heard of the word satire? You should look it up.
You know what's so funny about those two? Well, about all the TikToks is Chef likes to get on there and talk shit, and I love seeing him do it. But the second thing is, how many people say Scully must have never shot a gun before because of what he's saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I wish
if you only knew.
Right. Yeah, Chef, Jeff's like, you're always stirring the pot, stirring some shit up, always causing some shit. That's what he would always say to Josh.
I get a notification when somebody comments on Twitter, and when I see him pop up, like, oh, this is going to be good. I got to go check it out right now.
Yeah. So, James Barden, also excited to hear about your warehouse supplies. Pete said, yeah, materials have started coming in. Semi-truck was here yesterday. We downloaded a bunch of stuff. The big load is still not here. Maybe today, maybe Monday. And then there's a third truck behind that. And then I'm about to order a bunch more stuff. We're bringing in a lot of stuff that we don't even use. We're bringing in, but we're certainly focused on stuff that we do use and a lot more inventory and volume. And a lot of it's about just money into different places for tax advantage. We will warehouse it under one company and then sell it to the other company if we need it. So James Barden, I talked to you on live feed last night. Man, every time I talk, I hear...
So that microphone lowers down when it doesn't hear anything. So when you start to talk, it starts up.
It's never done this till today, though.
No, it's picking up some sort of feedback that's not there before. But the only reason that you hear it only when you talk is because that's when the microphone is working.
Okay.
So I don't know what it's picking up, but there's some sort of feedback that's normally not here.
James Barden, I'll be moving into our new house in April. I want to start gardening right away. I'm thinking about starting with a couple of raised beds to get the hang of the basics, then plant in ground next year. I don't want to waste a bunch of time going in ground when I don't know shit and have a bunch of dead plants. Is this a good plan, or should I just go straight in ground? I think you'll find that even when you're doing in ground's like volume to me, right? If we're going to produce a bunch of stuff that's going to come ripe all at the same time, and now we're going to process it, right? So you want a bunch of pizza sauce or tomato paste, you're going to do a bunch of tomatoes, right? You want a bunch of calories that you're going to put away. You're going to do a bunch of potatoes. You want to pickle up a bunch of jalapenos. You're going to do, 100 jalapeno plants or whatever. I think you're still going to use a raised beds. Like we use raised beds. We're probably never going to not use raised beds. We are going to put more stuff in the ground this year that's all going to come, do all at the same time so that we can process it. Because that's kind of our thing. Like I watched this dude, man, I think he had 20 by 50 feet and he grew a shit ton of wheat. Like he grew wheat right there, harvested it, processed it, threshed it, and just showed that you could do that, right? So I kind of want to do something with that. And if nothing else, we'll use it to feed animals or whatever. I think potatoes, I think I'm actually buying a potato planter that you can pull behind a horse or a tractor. Josh, chef, who we were talking about a minute ago, he said when he was a kid, he was sitting on the back of this thing and the potatoes come in and it's a plow that plows. And then the potato comes on this belt and it plants these potatoes at the proper spacing. And then there's another piece that pushes the dirt back on them. So it's proper rows. Corn, we might do some corn in the ground. But the raised bed, the beauty of the raised bed is...
You don't have to bend over.
That's why I like them. And you can do a kitchen garden, right? You can walk right outside. Like on the weekends, a lot of times, like on Sunday night, I'll want to eat something and she's not going to eat. Or she'll have already eaten. So I'll just get like a ramen bowl, some pho noodles or something. And I always go out to the garden and see what's green, right? I'm going to pull some rainbow chard. I'm going to pull some cilantro. I'm just going to clip some living shit out of there. And I'm going to put that into that bowl while it's steeping, make the broth and the noodles. And I'm going to put that in there and let it wilt. And I usually take an onion and I chop up a whole onion and I do that in olive oil. And then I'll put, a dozen jumbo shrimp in there. And then I just pour it all in there and I eat that, right? But I'm always cooking from stuff that's in the garden. I walk out to see, okay, what can I put in what I'm eating right now? And we do that a lot. And I just, instead of having it in the refrigerator, it's alive in the raised beds. And you'll find that you can do a ton of stuff. When it really kind of stops working is when it gets really hot and sunny. So build your garden in a manner that you can put shade cloth over it, which is what we've done, and it does great. I mean, it just springs right back to life. So I would do that all the time, and you can really control the soil too, right? Like right now, I don't know if this was horse pasture or what was there. No matter what it was, there's going to be a ton of weeds there. So when you start, you're going to till it up. You're going to make this beautiful soil. You're going to have all these plants start coming up, and in about 6 weeks, the grass and the weeds are going to be choking out all of your vegetables, and you're not even going to see those poor little tomato plants in there. So the first thing I would do is figure out where, and get a soil test too. Let's see what's in that dirt, right? Let's see what the soil says, and then we can amend it. We can bring in chicken manure, we can bring in rabbit manure, whatever, but silage tarp. You need to look up silage tarp because we're going to solarize this or we're going to silage tarp it. And what that's going to do, through the winter, we're going to put a bunch of leaves and shit down, then we're going to put a tarp over this thing. And that sun is going to cook that. And what it's going to do is it's going to germinate all the seeds that are in the ground, and they're going to sprout, and then they're not going to get any sunlight, and they're going to die. So when you peel that back, you're going to have this nice, loamy dirt that looks like potting soil to plant into, and you're not going to have to contend with the weeds right there. So that's your plan. And if you can do that for, 4 months, 6 months better, just get that thing in there, hatch out all those seeds. When you peel that back, there'll be tons of worms and there'll be microbes in there. And I mean, we can even inoculate the soil before we cover it. We can put in mycorrhizal fungi. We can put a bunch of rabbit manure in there. We can really make living soil when the time comes to use it. The raised beds, though, raised beds are great. We can even if you did it the worst way possible, right? We're going to miracle grow that thing, and that you're going to have accomplishment. You're going to have a nice looking garden. But the next year you're not going to have shit because it pulled all that urea out of there, right? All that fertilizer. But the beauty of it is now you have mass. So now we can bring that back to life. We can bring in mushroom compost. We can bring in rabbit manure. Even if you miracle growed it the next year, I don't care. You're still going to, and if you went and just bought all your plant starts from Walmart, we did that when
They work just fine.
COVID started. We just had miracle grow soil from Walmart because that's the cheapest place to buy a 2 cubic foot bag from, and starts from Walmart, and we had tons of shit growing. I still have raised beds right now. We use those wheel carts. Those are expensive. They're pretty. They're easy to move around. You can put them in a greenhouse during the winter.
They're eye level.
They're
Not for everybody, just for you.
Well,
for you.
but the whole like not bending over thing. So there's raised beds, but they're 2.5 feet tall. Well, yeah, it's not in the ground, but you still got to bend over, right?
So
at least the carts are at eye level.
I've got carrots and beets right now. I mean, how long's COVID been? 3 years ago? 4 years ago now?
19.
We literally put seeds in for carrots, and in the same bed right now in the same soil, these carrots go to seed. They put this big, huge stalk up, this bushy green. They put on seeds. The seeds fall, and they grow more carrots. We've never replanted those beds. They're still growing carrots right now, and beets. So now, like she was saying, at eye height. Now, this wasn't on my radar, but it makes sense because I do have to water those raised beds more. They're black. They're constantly being beat with the sun, and they're higher. Now, Mike Whistler said he builds raised beds for, rich soccer moms, and he comes over and takes care of them. And I'm like, Mike, I like all my beds up high. He said, when you get up past 12 inches, 20 inches, we're probably at like 30 inches, it's hotter. Here, it's way hotter here than down on the ground, and you have to water them more. Yeah, that does seem to be the case. Absolutely. So that's something else to think about. So you're probably going to have that raised bed someplace by the eave, especially if it's a kitchen house. You're going to have a roof line or something. Capture all the water coming off your roof.
What I was going to say, and you already hit on it, was the soil. If you don't need mass, like if you don't need to plant an acre of something, you can have individual gardens that you can control that soil on.
Sure you can.
And you can do whatever you want with it.
Sure you can. But what you'll find is when you have your gardens close, there are things that will bear being beat with the sunlight, and there's things that won't. So you can use bigger plants to create shade zones so you can plant other stuff. And then it's also destination and travel, right? We're only 10 acres, but I don't plant stuff back there because I have all of this right here. If I planted some awesome garden back there that would do badass, it would get neglected because it's further away. That's why I don't have animals in 2 locations right now, because that's one more thing I have to do. Like even when it started getting cold and it snowed a month or 2 ago, we brought everything into one area so that I didn't have to tromp through the snow to go do it, and we could just do it quickly. Can you kill that heat?
Yeah.
Is it warm enough in here now?
Oh, I mean, I took my jacket off.
So,
Buttons.
Alder Duramax. There's a guy where I work who just joined the National Guard. He started here after graduating basic and grunt school. Yesterday, he asked me to help him since I am the only prior service guy in the company. Anyway, long story longer, I started helping him set up his issued rig, and man, is this gear shit. I showed him my 8-mag rig and my other SOE gear, and he was flipping out. He will be ordering a rigger's belt soon. No question, just thanks for the awesome gear. Well, man, thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for showing him the gear. The gear definitely speaks for, like, just seeing it side by side, that really does it. But, man, thanks for turning them on to us. Aldra Duramax also. There's a guy here where I work who just joined the National Guard. He's
just read that one.
It's the same question. He posted the same question twice. Weird. Aaron Kinder. I've heard many times that the war belt won't be made again. You were making one on IG Live last week. What's the background behind that video? Are you going to do a run of them? I would buy one in multicam. I've been replacing all my old stuff with SOE. Yeah, we're probably going to build some of them. We brought in another machine that makes it easier. So the war belts used to have air mesh against it, which is the material we put inside our koozies and stuff. But it's not super durable. Like, it snags on things. Velcro will stick to it. So we use a 3D spacer mesh. It's a way more robust product and way more expensive. But when you look at it, it's about 3/8 thick. And when you hold it to the light, you can see straight through it. It looks like it's these fibrous fingers. And that's what it does, is it stands off of your body so that even though it's against your body, it's able to breathe and sweat through a little. It doesn't hold sweat like it does when you just have nylon against your body. Not that that matters. If you're wearing body armor, it's fucking, you're all sweating anyways. Guys complaining about it aren't using the shit for real because it would all be the same. Yes, we're probably going to, I'm reworking my patterns right now. My production floor, we cannot build them in the manner that I want them built. So they'll probably be low numbers. We'll just get 1 or 2 people in them and build them one at a time. There's not ever going to be a time where you can order it and ship the same day. Like, it's just, that's how it is. I don't know that we're even going to put them on the website. It'll probably be a deal where you just have to contact us. That's what we're moving to anyways. We're moving to, I've been saying this for years, but we're setting up a membership. There will be items you will only be able to order if you're a member, and you won't even know about them really unless you're a member.
Probably at least 3 times a day, I get an email or a text, hey, do you have this thing? And I'm like, we don't, but you need to send John an email with all the details to include what you want.
Weeds them out
what
because
color.
They don't email.
Yeah, and
I'm good with that. I'm fine with that.
They obviously don't want it that bad.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And there's a lot of looky-loos. People want what they can't have, but they're not willing to take fucking 2 minutes of their time to get it to happen. I only have so much labor. I would rather do business with better customers. And that's the people listening to this.
Yep,
I mean, you're behind nobody hears these, but you guys, if you're hearing this, you're hearing it because you're a member in our group. And I would rather do business with you guys than fucking strangers. I mean, that's just how it is.
Trying to tear us down, but me and my team, the last of a dead breed, you can't kill us, we move.